Okay, what's going on, everyone? This is Maestro Drake. How about that new He-Man actor? So you got a 10-year-old Prince Adam, right? Does he become He-Man? Is that what they're gonna do? It's gonna flop. It doesn't matter who's starring in it. It's gonna flop. Especially if it's done for kids. This new Masters of the Universe movie for Amazon's gonna flop. It's not gonna do well. I called it here first. It will not do well. Anyway, so I'm looking at videos from Comics Matter with your boy Zach, who talks about the right, the anti-SJWs, who criticize the SJWs. Um, I'm center. I'm not strictly a centrist. Like I'm not taking. Basically, I see the points of democracy, and I see the points of a republic, and I see the points from both parties. I see the points that religious people make. I see the points that atheists make, and uh, I'm 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 somewhere in between. Like I'm ambiguous about it. Um, it's not atheist and it's not religious. Uh, I was gonna say altruistic, but I don't even remember the word. Because I'm recording with my phone, obviously I can't go and look it up. So I'm neither atheist or religious, but I kind of look at everybody in between. And I'm sort of like whatever. I don't take sides. Do you know what taught me about? Do you know how I learned about people like Kathleen Kennedy and Gail Simone and Heather Antos and Frost from G4 and a lot of toxic people from Kotaku and just toxic people in general. Paul Feig, who did Ghostbusters 2016 or Answer the Call. I learned about it from my mother and my sisters and my father. Okay, I think my mom forgot my birthday. By the way, I think she forgot my birthday. I think this is the first time in 46 years. But that's another story. Hope you all didn't forget. Um, so my parents got married too early at 21 years old. I think my dad was 20 and my mom was 21, or maybe my mom was 22. Because keep in mind, my dad was born in 1944, my mom was born in 1943. So there's a year apart. Had three daughters, and they're all fighting against each other. My grandmother was a selfish bitch on my dad's side. My mom's mom wanted my mom to work the Mexican restaurant to the death. That was rough. My grandpa, my mom's dad, cheated on my mom's mom with different mistresses. My dad's mom divorced her husband and ran off with a lover who ran off with another one. There have been like shitty relatives throughout, and there have been bad marriages. My cousins were in gangs, and there was a lot of fighting. Like take sides, take sides. Pick this person over this person. This person's better than this person. Now that reminds you of like Survivor or Big Brother or one of those reality shows. But that was in my family. That was in my family first, and everybody just argued and argued and argued. Um, I noticed something just before I started this video. I think Merrill, I think Amaya Miller's father posted this, where it's like I don't know if it was pertaining to Jax or Amaya or Austin, but it's like the best part. He reposted. This was not his words. He reposted this saying that the best part about being a father is being told you're wrong while your kids depend on you for money and things, which sounds a lot like narcissism. Like I'm never wrong, but one day, your kids. I'm not saying this is hypothetically speaking. Your kids will just wave to you, okay, and be like, if you don't want to help us no more, let us know, and then you can go be right all by yourself. I know my family would think that way too. Like, well, you think we're wrong, but you need us for this. I'm like, no, I won't. I won't ask my parents for a damn thing. If you want to help me, great. If you don't, if you decide you don't want to help me anymore, then you know Let me know in advance. Give me proper, like, when you quit a job, you give a 2 week notice. Okay, well, that's the way it's going to be. So I learned from my family not to take sides. My dad was a Republican. My mom was a Republican. Then she switched to Democrat because, of course, like most people, she had to be anathema to everything, you know. So she had to be against everything that I may have common sense to. So when Trump talked about, rapists and murderers, of course, my mom did not watch the whole 5 hour speech. I watched that whole Trump 2015 speech when we had the lockdowns, because when you're staying at home wearing a mask, you're going to have time to look at things. And I had time to look at that speech, unfucking edited by anybody. I remember watching that right wing show, Right Side Broadcasting, and uh, watching 5 hours of that Michigan Supreme Court when Giuliani was there with Jenna Ellis. Oh, that was a circus. Forget whether or not the voting was fraud for a moment. That whole Michigan court was a circus. And when SNL made a parody of that, they flipped the script where Giuliani was farting and everybody in the Supreme Court was very serious. It wasn't a funny skit, but it was very interesting, I thought, because then it was like making it look like Bizarro World. When you watch that one episode of Star Wars Rebels where you hear the happy Empire music, dun, 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 dun. It's not evil sounding, right? It's like propaganda. It felt like propaganda in that skit. But anyway, aside from that, um, the left made fools of themselves with Ghostbusters Answer the Call, with Star Wars The Last Jedi, maybe even The Force Awakens. But I kind of learned to accept The Force Awakens because, and shout out to Everest Productions if they decide to watch this video. I'm probably not going to shout out to anybody in particular, but though I'm thinking about Al Smith from Ghostbusters right now, and I'm thinking about Everest. Everest Productions made their own version of the Skywalker trilogy with uh, the the next chapters right after Return of the Jedi, which is what George Lucas wanted. George Lucas also wanted Dark Talon in the sequel trilogy, but she's still in Kate Skywalker's time, so whatever. I mean, you get the best stories from wherever you're going to get it, whether it's in a comic book or a cartoon or TV show or movie, web series, however, video game. Um, so Disney disappointed fans, and the Forces Female propaganda campaign, that was not a movie. That Forces Female was a whole thing that Kathleen did, which was like the first stirring of the pot. So between that and then the way Marvel eventually started to fold under the weight of like Captain Marvel with Brie Larson, right? Uh, oh, agnostic. That's the word. Agnostic. I'm agnostic, neither atheist or religious. That's it. I can't think of these words until later. The one guy corrected me about 2001 Space Odyssey, but do you know when I remembered that movie? After I turned off the fucking tape. When the tape ended, that's when I remembered. So the left went too far between the movies they showed and put out there, between their television productions, between Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel, a little bit of propaganda in the form of funny, quote unquote, funny jokes. And 2020 happened. George Floyd, the lockdowns, the toilet paper, the voting, misinformation, people going after people, uh, and with people like Heather Antos and Gail Simone, women who did get jobs based on their looks and not, working your way up. You know, if 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 today you saw somebody like Gail Simone today, you probably give her the worst comic book to write, and then have her go up and up and up. But because I remember a story where somebody, I forget, it's a great writer too, and I think it was the one that helped write Nick Fury. And Stan Lee at the time, who was working there at Marvel, said he had a list of comic books, kind of like the low tier comic book issues and said he went to the guy who wrote for Nick Fury. He said, "Pick one," and that's how he started. So Zach or Richard, who is the Rock and Roll Ninja creator, and I think Chuck Dixon's writing it, right? Rock and Roll Ninja wrote that. I think he's going to start. He's going to re-release number one and do a number two. Uh, Issues, not bathroom references here. Uh, but it looks good. I mean, Rock and Roll Ninja. I mean, just watching the review, somebody review it. It has this very underground. Go to a Tower Records and see this black and white comic book that has that weird black and white comic book smell. It has the feeling of 1984's Ninja Turtles, just that very first issue. Um, it's very different. I liked it. Even this Visionaries, this was a great comic book. Planet of the Apes Visionaries, originally conceived by Rod Serling and Data Gold put it together. I think we're at a time, and there's other factors too, where the right you have Steven Crowder, not Stephen Colbert. You have Steven Crowder, Tim Pool. You have the Geeks and Gamers. It used to be that when 2017 happened, you had people like Matt Jarbo. That was short. Matt Jarbo, Monday Matt, shortly before his Boulder incident, and there were all kinds of people. Jesse Milestone but Jesse Milestone crashed a party and offended Gary of Nerdrotic, so she was kicked out. Mary Mayhem left on her own. Anna, that Star Wars girl, went on her own. She's on her own thing. Mostly the girls of it. Josiah Rises, who picked a fight with me because I heard his fifis about not being pro-life. I think he's on his own now too. Senpai noticed, hey, you know what? Gannon Stouch, Gabriel Fernandez. Look at those people. You think that's a great argument for pro-life? You get on your bullhorn and come into California, motherfucker. Yeah, Josiah, I am talking to you. And you think you're all that. You can like your opinion, but you cannot enforce that as law. And those girls, if you told girls in California here what you think, let's see if they want to, get crazy with you tonight, because they ain't going to get crazy with you. Don't tell the woman what to do. I remember going through downtown Los Angeles, seeing protesters for pro-choice. Pro-choice includes pro-life. Okay? Some people were not meant to be on this earth. We have so many people on the freeway. We have so many people at large crowds of events. I've already done my bit for why I don't like it. The truth is, between all the rights and the lefts and the ups and the downs, and then there are the greedy people, okay? We're just doing whatever we want to do. Now, I think Joey Diaz, who really doesn't disclose all of his political opinions, a guy who was a criminal and then turned comedian, and now he's a podcaster, but, podcaster first and then comedian second and then whatever, third. But most importantly, he's a family man. The first people in his life are his wife and, their daughter. So that's his family means more to him than anything. And he said there are three kinds of people: sheep, dogs, and pigs. Okay. Now, I watched the last two videos concerning Furiosa and politics with Zach. And I think at the end of the video, of the last video he did, he said, "Just don't give out your opinions." Or he can't go watch Furiosa because he's worried about what other people think. Zach, you got to be like a Mexican. You got to be like a Mexican American. Be like, don't give a fuck. Don't give a fuck what people think. Okay? You want to go see Anya Taylor-Joy? She got a good booty. Go see her. I didn't enjoy her as much in the Super Mario Brothers movie. There were a couple of cringe moments. However, I did give the movie a chance. And I thought it was above average, but I don't think I'd watch it all the time. It's not my addictable or addicting go-to movie. But there were a couple of cringe kind of woke moments that Peach does in the movie. in the animated movie that I just didn't like. But yeah, the right and the left will fearmonger which TV shows, which movies, which comic books, which plays, which musicals, which web series, which augmented reality shows, uh, what scented candles, what incense sticks theater, right? So you tell a story with just incense sticks, right? So it's usually just your smell-o-vision, right? What forms of entertainment you cannot or you can watch. And honestly, it's like I'm in the whatever center pile. I'm somewhere between the right and the left, depending on where it's left and right, depending on where you're sitting. I'm in the middle of all of it. I just want to watch what I want to watch, and I don't want to watch what I don't want to watch. Um, the pigs, to me, and Joey Diaz said this, are like, you could say the police are pigs, but the authority figures are pigs. They're the ones who don't believe in the bullshit they tell you. They tell you what you want to think. They tell you what you want to hear. We're on your side. By the way, I'm this politician and you're this celebrity. I love your work. Could you support me? It would mean a lot. Okay, those people. Okay? And because a lot of actors do not read and do not get educated, they'll fall in line with that politician and do whatever. Okay? That's annoying. So the pigs are the ones that are the authority figures. They will tell people how to think and how to feel. It's no different than a YouTuber, though. A YouTuber can fall into that. Hell, I could fall into that. But I will say, you can hear what I'm saying, and it could be like the teacher, Charlie Brown, blah, 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 blah. Or maybe something about what I'm saying is capturing it. Or maybe all of it is. It doesn't matter to me. As long as you don't hate me, that's all that I care about. That's all that matters to me. Stay my friend in the end, or to the end. So you have the pigs, you have the sheep. And the sheep are usually, and dare I'm going to talk shit about my own followers too, but anybody who just follows the leader because they can't think for themselves. They're the mob mentality. They're the people who stand in line for the iPhone 20. They're the people who stand in line for, oh my God, this surgeon found a way to give black people natural blonde hair. Everybody's in line, right? This person found a way to make glow-in-the-dark tattoos that stay glow in the dark for years. Everybody's in line. We're going to put a space colony, a domed city that orbits the Earth. Everybody's in line. Everybody's in line for this or that. You can put a microchip in your body to do all these smart things. Everybody's in line for that, And if you want to talk about sheep, people's reactions to reactionaries in 2020, whether it was for the right or the left. But the left looked a little guilty 4 years ago, didn't they? And they look more guilty today. And the right look a little guilty as well. But I don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. I don't care. Because I'm the dog. You have the dogs. We just make things happen. We make things happen. We make videos, we make books, we make stories. I am almost done, as I'm talking to you, putting together The Outcaster's Ghost Passage. And I'm putting together Sonny's Bonds. The stories I felt that I did before were slow, but I'm just going to get right to the story of it. And when I do the introduction, I'm going to tell you what kind of story this is. It has not been done before. But video games and TV shows have inspired me to get to this point. With characters I created, I think about 27 years ago. I have known these characters for 27 years. Like a long time. And partly I'm doing this for Amaya Miller. I think about that person all the time. I believe she's doing a movie. I think she's still working on a movie. Hopefully she's not off of social media completely to the point where she doesn't want to talk to anybody. But I'm just making things happen in my own life. I'm in the middle of getting boxes packed. I'm looking at the boxes to my left, and I'm trying to or to my right actually, depending on how you're watching this video, because I having the camera face me. And I'm just going through changes right now. I don't care what geeks and gamers think. I don't care what Stephen Colbert thinks, or Robert De Niro, or Mark Hamill, or President Biden, who can't get his words together, or Steven Crowder, Jimmy Kimmel. And Jimmy Kimmel's trying to sound like he's trying to appeal to both sides. I think he's flip flopping a bit, whatever that means. It's a very strange time, and I think in the end we're going to prevail. The whatever center people, we will prevail in the end. We will be the ones that win. Okay, the sheep the sheep are among us all, right? The sheep don't really have a platform necessarily, but sometimes the pigs can be the sheep. You never know. But the dogs, the pigs will be there. The pigs will always be there, whether you're watching what pick a person on TV, whether it's a talk show host, a game show host, a news anchor person. Uh, do not rest in peace, Sam Rubin. Or it could be an influencer, or it could be a Twitch streamer, um, or a YouTuber. But I'm the dog in the middle. Sometimes I'll think like the sheep and think, what are you guys looking at? And I'll look at what they're looking at. And sometimes I'm like the pig. But honestly, if you don't agree with me, that's fine. But and boycotts don't work either. But understand why I do the things that I do, and why you do the things that you do. Looking back 4 years ago, we are now in a different spot. We have to prevail in that we want to tell good stories, we want to tell good art, and keep in mind that the pigs, uh, when they tell you whatever political beliefs they want you to believe in, they're trying to sell you a product that you will no longer own. Whether it's video games on a disc, VHS tapes no longer around, whether it's records, you don't get to own vinyl records anymore, or CDs, DVDs, Blu-rays, 4K every day, books. I try to own, especially with like, I could have gotten this for 20 bucks on Kindle, okay? I wanted to get this as a physical copy. And there was a guy that reviewed this and said he got this at his local library and said they're not hard to get. That's a lie. Mr. YouTuber, whoever you are, I forgot your name, some bald dude. You cannot get this easily. And at the price I paid 3 times as much as the cover price. This was hard to get a hold of. Okay? Difficult to get a hold of. So that's all I got. I don't know if I'm going to mention Amaya, if I'm going to nudge her on Facebook about this video, but I'll review this video and see if she want to. I'm going to be harsh. I'm going to be a harsh person, but at the same time, with love and care, because I know what it's like to be abused. I grew up in that atmosphere. No pun intended to the game or whatever. I think I'm in a better spot now than when I first moved into this house in 2010. All right, so I got one more video to post. Fuck the Masters of the Universe movie, and let's see what tomorrow holds. I might go see Deadpool and Wolverine whenever that comes out. All right, all right.